This is Jeff Chrisman, and I'm on the Inspiring Conversations podcast, and I'm very happy today to be here with my co-host in Oklahoma City, Laura Hensley. Laura, thanks so much for being here today. It's always good to do these with you.
It's good to be here.
Absolutely, and actually we're going to be speaking today with Mikey Hevr. Mikey, thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate you doing this.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Laura, and definitely looking forward to learning more about you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Mikey, again. Thanks for being here. I was really excited when you cleared your schedule for us. Yeah. So Mikey, I met Mikey through my podcast, Bad Decisions, Good Choices. So through Mac, Mikey actually did our theme song, which I thought was really cool because we gave her like very little guidance, and that's what she came up with. It was a really I want to say Mac gave you like a Queen song. She was on a Queen's kick, like for a little for a little bit. And,
she said Queen and EDM, and I'm like, how in the world am I gonna?
Wow!
Goodness!
Wow!
And she killed it. So go listen to our theme song.
I love it. I love
just
it.
a little snippet of things Mikey does. I don't want to under or oversell you, but I didn't realize. I knew you did a lot of things, but I didn't realize how many things you kind of dabble in. So go ahead, and I found videography, photography, like 3 different kinds of photography, and then you make music and you're in a band. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you got here, that kind of thing, and really pick what's your favorite. I gotta know, like if you have one.
Yeah. Okay. Man, all right. I'm gonna get the favorite out of the way because I feel like that's the burning question. My music, obviously. I mean, I say obvious. If you can see behind me, there's a bass and some stuff hanging out. Music is my favorite. But to go back to what I do to make money, I do photography and videography. I mainly do photo for real estate, and then I do some headshots and kind of things like that. And then for videography, I mainly work at weddings and also real estate, and then other events and things like that. I got started in video probably just a few years ago, but then photography I've been doing since I was probably this big,
Yay high.
Yay high with a disposable camera in my back pocket.
Those are the days.
I know. I found one the other day, and it expired in 2004. So we're gonna see if any of the pictures actually turn out on it. But
the days of going to get your film developed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised they still do that.
Right.
Oh yeah, and then music. I've been playing guitar since I was like 15, and loving every second of that. But especially right now, with the whole virus situation, we can't really play many shows. So.
Yeah, I saw your band writing music in your room. It's kind of.
Oh yeah. So I have 2 bands actually.
Okay. Yeah, I found Salem Blue. So what's the other one?
The other one's called The Hideouts.
It's
more of a country rock kind of vibe.
Ooh, okay, I'll go check that out. Because I loved Salem Blue. I got into it I was doing quick research, but it was right before this, and I was like, okay, I'm really sorry I didn't get into this sooner because it's definitely my kind of vibe.
You slacker.
I know, I'm the worst. I'm the literal worst. But now I've favorited it. I'm following on Spotify, so.
Nice.
Yeah, no. So I'll go check out the Hideouts too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How long have you been in the Hideouts?
Probably 7 years now, 8 years.
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And then Salem Blue is pretty new, it seemed like.
Yeah, we started writing together 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago. And we played our first and last show in January of last year. It was a wonderful little house show. And Sarah, the singer, it was for her birthday. So we kind of had everybody just pack in, and we decked out the whole performance area. It looked really cool.
So when you say first and last, though, you mean last that got played
because
out last
yes,
for the
correct.
future. Okay, I was just clarifying. I was like, I just found a new favorite.
No, I mean, we'll see, you know, as everyone maybe starts getting vaccines and stuff and we can actually like play again. So we'll
That'd be
see
sick.
when that happens.
That would be sick. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So okay, so I wanted to ask about really Lady Themis. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
So the album, it's really beautiful. I love the like dreamy, airy kind of feelings, the rain vibes, the cat purring, like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so different. It's like you don't really get that in a lot of like, you know, standard music, but I love rain sounds anyway. So
Oh yeah.
but I thought it was interesting reading your little fun facts. So Lady Themis is the goddess of justice and fairness.
Yeah.
So what kind of led you guys to that?
That would be more of a question for Sarah. However, I don't know, we were just really drawn to the imagery of Lady Themis. You know, if you Google it, she's this lady, and I think she's holding like is she holding scales? I want to say she's holding scales, and she's got like a blindfold on. And we just really, really loved how that looked and kind of what it stood for. And we thought that it kind of encapsulated the album really well. So
yeah, no, okay, so that means I love your because your photography is for the album cover is really good too. So that's the blindfolds.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I love that. No, that's really cool. So your music is your biggest passion right now.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like. So with videography, so you're going the real estate wedding way. That's how you pay bills.
Yeah.
Sounds like. But I also saw you make short horror films.
Oh yeah.
I watched also one of those. I was like, this is cool. That's fun.
Hey, which one did you watch?
I watched The Killer Elves.
Nice. It's a good one.
I also hate Christmas. So I was like, yeah, this is great. It's funny.
Perfect. It will make you hate it even more. You know?
Yeah, right.
So that's fine.
No. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. Yo, what was your question?
Oh, I was just gonna say, how did you get involved in that? And then do you have any other projects that are like similar to that?
Oh yeah. Okay. So Sarah, the singer for Salem Blue, her husband Carrie Thomas Cody, full name, as he goes by, he loves horror films, and for a long time I knew that they kind of kicked around ideas for short horror films, and then I don't know, one day it hit me. I was like, wait, I'm a videographer. Why aren't we like doing something? Why don't we make one of these? And then that's how I got started late last summer. And we made a short called Crutch, which is pretty spooky. You should check it out next.
Yeah, that was the one I was like, I didn't have time for. Dang it, I started too late on this research.
It's too spooky. And then, of course, Attack of the Killer Elves. And then we have a third one that's not yet released, but it is finished. It may or may not be about aliens. Who's to say? And then we recently submitted our shorts and like an anthology of them to Dead Center. So we're waiting to hear back about that, and we'll see. You know,
that's exciting, Mikey. Oh my God, look at you.
Yeah, pretty cool. And so
that is really cool.
And then we've already started talking about ideas for future shorts. So we'll see what happens.
I'm super excited to see this alien one. I'm excited to watch Crutch, but aliens are real, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Obviously. So we're all on the same page.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you guys.
So excited for that. Well, that's really exciting. So how soon? Can I ask how soon? Or are you allowed to say?
How soon what?
How soon is the aliens one coming out?
Oh, that kind of all depends on if it gets accepted into Dead Center. So part of the rules for submitting were that they couldn't be viewed in its entirety anywhere. And so we might have to hold back on showing that if it gets accepted until after Dead Center in the summer. But
okay, cool. What exactly is Dead Center?
Dead Center is a local film. I say local. It's film festival based in Oklahoma City. And it's actually
Oh,
pretty big. So
I'm ignorant, I guess.
we'll see.
When is it? It's this summer, you said?
Yeah, it's either June or July. I can't remember
Ooh,
exactly what the dates are, but
I'll have to go. That sounds really exciting.
fingers crossed.
Especially the alien. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Well, I will keep my fingers crossed and send good vibes.
Oh, thank you. Thank
you. So do you, I guess in your music, do you write the words, or are you writing the melodies, or how does your creative flow go? Just
usually I will write like majority of the music, and then Sarah or the lead singer of my other band, Garrett, they'll kind of handle like the lyrics and most of the melodies. And then obviously we'll kind of have ideas for each other on both of those things, but it's kind of more 80%. Like I'll handle like 80% of the music, and then the rest of it she'll just be like, hey, you should do that there or this here, and then I'll do the same for lyrics too. So
nice. Okay. So you both have your parts. How does that, do you find that, I haven't listened to the Hideout, so now I feel like I'm hearing that.
If you've heard Daughtry, you've heard the Hideout.
Shut up.
He sounds like Daughtry a little bit. It's great.
Because they were kind of around the same time, kind of, because it wasn't, or am I dating myself? Daughtry is probably older than that, huh?
I mean, like, what's Daughtry, like 2009 maybe, when he kind of first started, 2008, something like
way over 7 years. Okay,
yeah, it's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. I was like, oh, that's only 7 years ago.
Oh man, time flies.
Time does fly. Me and Mac are coming up on our like 10-year reunion, and we're like,
wow,
we're old. You know? And as I'm saying, I'm old. I'm talking to Jeff here. Sorry.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, when you guys were talking about dating, when you're talking about dating yourself, 2009, I think like 2009. Yeah, dating myself was like 1985, 1977.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's dating myself.
Not even close. I'm not even on that. I just started to feel old really recently, and I'm like, I thought I saw a gray earlier, and I almost cried.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was the first time I thought I'd ever saw one, so I didn't look too closely because it was right before this.
You're like, oh, it was just the light.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a little blonde. I just get my hair touched up, just because it's summer, right? No.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. No, I think that's really cool. I like that you're. I'm a dabbler too, so I like to think of a lot of different things. Do you feel like one thing, like when you're working on one thing, do you feel like that kind of helps you grow in the other areas? Or
in a way, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely helps because you can get like all that sort of creativity out, and then that kind of leaves more room for you to come up with ideas in other areas. So in that way, yeah, I think it does.
I guess I asked because, like, for me, it always does. That's why it's kind of like my loaded question. For me, I'm like, I think like painting, once I get like the visual part out, then there's like other rooms like for podcasting and like conversation, and like conversations give me like, imagery. And then, you're saying you have these two bands and they kind of overlap a little bit, and that overlaps with your videography because it's her husband. I think that's really,
yeah.
And then you have a spooky vibe for your music, but then you also have like skull crawlers over here. So I just think it's interesting how they're all they're touching, but they're like all completely different concepts. It's really,
love it. Love every aspect of it.
Yeah, no, that's executing. Cool.
Yeah, we actually did
Jeff,
a video.
Did you have anything? I'll turn it over to you. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Did I miss something? I'm sorry. I may have.
No, I think you're good. I think
okay. I thought maybe we had sometimes I need to get those delays.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you. Just hearing that you're actually, now if I understand, there is I don't know if someone in this band is playing guitar. I just want to make sure that I'm up to speed with you.
Yes.
And I was gonna say, it almost blows my mind because I read an article the other day that the guitar is being used, like guitar sales are like at an all-time low. And for someone like myself, who's a classic rock hippie, who's been listening to guitar rock, since the late 60s. Yeah.
Wow.
It's so weird to think about, the fact that actually it's beautiful to know that there's still guitar music out there. I know that it's not as common as it once was. And so it would be really interesting to hear just in terms of like any of your early influences. It would just be cool to hear, who you were listening to, in the beginning of this process when you started getting into music to the point of forming a band and just getting a sense of maybe where the influences came from.
Oh, absolutely. Probably one of the first songs that I ever remember liking was a song called Never Let You Go by Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of Third Eye Blind. I used to listen to a lot of The Starting Line, and then my parents played a lot of the Beatles growing up, Boston, Journey, stuff like that, Aerosmith, Heart. So kind of all over the realm there. And then obviously lately, my parents never really listened to much 90s music growing up, other than that one, band, Third Eye Blind. But lately I've been getting into a lot of 90s stuff, and wow, it's so good. So good.
Yeah. And then I was going to it would be really cool just to hear, maybe what those first experiences were like when you had the opportunity to perform for an audience, and just getting some sense of what that was like for you.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying. I'm grew up an introvert. I don't know if I still am or not, maybe, probably. But very, very shy human being growing up. Like I would hide behind my parents' legs anywhere, pretty much. But yeah, so the first time I remember playing a show, it was in a Hot Topic, back when that was a thing. And we did a little 3-song set opening up for another band. And I remember my hands were shaking so bad I could barely play. And it wasn't even my guitar. I borrowed my friend's guitar. And we were like, let's just write a few songs and play a show because that sounds cool.
Yeah.
So we got that done, and we did it. I think I blacked out a little bit right there during. But we actually made everyone sit down for our show because it might make us feel more comfortable. So we're like, all right, everyone crisscross applesauce on the floor.
I was like, wait, in a Hot Topic.
In a Hot Topic, everyone is sitting, no one is shopping. It was great. I mean, that's pretty much how the first few shows went. I would play and shake and also love it at the same time. It's this weird performance anxiety, I guess.
Yeah.
But then, as the years went on, I got far more comfortable with it, and now I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and if I could ask too, just in terms of just musically, how you've evolved, since that time, just getting some sense of, looking at your own inner evolution, and maybe inside, I don't know if there's any relationship as you look back at that, getting some sense of if there's any relationship of that to your other work that in terms of your photography, your videography, and just kind of looking at the big picture, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I don't know exactly how to answer. I'm always trying to learn more and be better in all of the creative aspects, except for drawing. I can't do that at all. Barely draw a stick figure. But other than that, yeah, I learned guitar by mainly YouTube, honestly.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And just playing what I thought sounded kind of cool, and I was like, oh yeah, and then trying to play it better and faster and just coming up with more stuff. And same with photography, actually. I feel like most of learning is getting out there and doing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to just sit and learn theory. I was never very good at music theory. But I'm like, I don't know the technical term for any of this, but I can play it. And
what's more important?
Exactly. But yeah, so just practice and practice and practice, and just keep doing it because you love to do it, not because you have to.
Yeah, and as far as fans and an audience and things like that, anything that you might share, just I didn't know if there's any surprises along the way, or just what that's been like as far as your relationship to the people that love what you're doing, and just anything along those lines.
Okay, well, I don't know if this applies to all artists, but I absolutely hate playing in front of people I know. That's my
Oh,
least
wow.
favorite thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Like my mom would always be like, "We're gonna come to your show." I'm like, "Please don't." Just I'll set up a little phone recording. It'll be just fine. I promise. Just don't show up.
Yeah.
I would much rather play in front of a room of strangers than even like two people that I know. It's really weird. I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah. Does it have something to do with maybe, wondering, I don't know, and there again, I'm just speculating and I have no idea, but is it just something as far as, is it easier to do this where you don't have to wonder about what they're thinking at all? In other words, or if they have any preconceived notions?
I'm sure that
Gotcha.
that has a lot to do with it. And it's also nice to know, like, I don't have to see these people ever again. So if they hate it, oh well,
Yeah. Yeah.
But if my mom's like, yeah, I didn't like that one song, I'm like, oh, dang, I knew it was terrible.
Would your mother ever say that to you?
I don't know, maybe. If it was really bad, she'd be like, I didn't care for that one. But she'd probably be right, so it's okay. I'd be like, you know what, me either, Mom. That was a terrible song. You're right.
You're right. I'm gonna go cry about it now.
Oh man.
I'm the same way with my podcast sometimes. Like, I don't tell most people I like closely know that I talk to all the time that I have, like, I tell people about this podcast, I think, because I'm not as closely like related to it. Like, I just like, it's like my friends and I co-host. But then Bad Decisions, Good Choices is, I'm like, I'm just shit talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't go listen to this. Like, I love it. I think it's hilarious. I'll like listen back and be editing. I'm like, God, we're so funny. But like, my close friend, don't listen to me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's some interesting stories on there from you guys.
Interesting. Thank you. That's a great word for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember going through that phase of like, year one, year two, thinking that everybody that I knew needed to know every person I talked to, and every time this happened. And yeah, at some point I finally realized, no, I don't think they're really that interested. They're just being nice.
Oh man. Yep.
And as far, I was going to ask you, as far as the audiences, I've always wondered, not being a musician myself, just what it is like in terms of, do you get a sense from audiences or from individuals in an audience that they're vibing with this? I always wondered what that was like. I mean, and I've always, not being a musician, I can only look at it from this perspective, but I've always wondered, like, what does the audience look like when you're up there doing that? What is that?
You can tell if they're vibing. People will kind of be moving around a little bit more, and it's not just a bunch of blank stares in your direction if they're into it. And then obviously after you finish a song, there'll probably be some wonderful clapping, which we all love to hear. Applause, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can kind of tell, like, people kind of innately know what body language is and what it feels like when somebody is more interested in what you're doing versus if they're just walking to the back of the room talking to their friend at the bar.
Oh yeah. Because I always wondered, I mean, when you're in the middle of that, do you see individual faces? I mean, or is it all happening so fast? I didn't know if you can actually see facial expressions, or if you can.
It depends on where you're playing and how good the lighting is. Oftentimes, the stage is the most well lit and the rest of the establishment is not. So it's kind of hard to see out when there's just blinding lights in your face. But you can usually see the people kind of right there at the front, and usually those are the ones that are interested in what you're doing. So it works out.
Yeah. And then I was going to ask also, just, and I realize, the pandemic, this is something that, I know most people are sick of this and are done with it in a lot of ways, but just getting a sense of like what this has been like for you, as not only as a human being, but also as an artist, and actually in your case, with multiple mediums that you're sharing with the world, just, getting some sense of what that's been like for you.
Oh yeah. At first it was terrible, because we were pretty, trying to be full steam ahead with the bands and even with shooting, like photography and videography. And then there was, suddenly 2 months where everything was shut down and we couldn't do really any of that unless it was just on our own. And it ended up being a good thing because, obviously for photo and video, people rescheduled and we were actually able to keep shooting real estate through that time frame because it was an essential business. Real estate is an essential business. So that was fine. It was actually nice to be able to work a little bit through that 2 months. I might have gone stir crazy otherwise. But I guess back to music, we ended up writing quite a bit. We couldn't play shows or do much of anything else, so it actually worked out. And I think that's what a lot of musicians have been doing with this year, is just really getting back into writing a ton and having these really well thought out albums, things like that. So pretty interesting.
Yeah. And I'm actually curious what both of you think. I mean, what do you think things look like once things get back to normal? That question just kind of occurred to me. I hadn't even really thought about that before. Like what does normal look like, going forward with all of this?
Well, ideally it'll be normal, like life a year and a half ago. But I have a feeling that for quite a long time, we're still going to have to, wear masks and kind of social distance a little bit. I think that it's going to kind of be our new reality for a little while until they can figure out how effective the shots are and if more people will get them, perhaps.
Yeah, it's a thought, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll see. It's very cool to see places like New Zealand who have pretty much eradicated it, because anyone who comes in to there will have to go immediately to a 2-week quarantine, and then they can join the public. So everyone there just kind of lives freely because you can't bring it in, Yeah. I wish that we're here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because there is still like live music, I guess, because there's live music still happening. People, especially here in Oklahoma, there's still like, people are still going out. People are still kind of like, I feel like we're all kind of like half living, give or take. Like, I don't know how else to explain that, except like we're still trying to make things feel like normal life, like a year and a half ago, but just with like a mask and then like separating tables a little farther apart, But when do you think you guys will start like thinking about playing live shows again?
Oh, I'm already thinking about it.
Okay.
Honestly, I would have done it a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of the venues aren't having shows quite yet. And the ones that are, it's like the tickets are more expensive because you can't have as many people in there, so they have to try and make up that cost somehow. And so that kind of sucks. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of free shows for quite a while, which free shows are always pretty fun to play. Like you don't have to pay a cover charge or anything. You just go into the bar and the band's playing. But we'll see. Hopefully soon. I'm ready. So just depends on everyone else.
So you are open to doing free shows, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, I would. Not very many, but I would. Absolutely.
Right. I know. I never know what that's like being an artist, because there's always, I talk to Mac about it all the time. Like there's this fine line of like, you got to get paid for something, but then you're like, I got to do what I love too. So like, where's that
it's
happy medium?
Weird because like it's people are mainly booking like larger artists because those are the people who could pull the higher price tickets.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to be in like this middle or smaller range. It's going to be hard to get booked for a while, I think, at least until everyone fully feels comfortable like going outside, and then I think everything's just going to explode. Like people are going to be out and about and going to shows and going to eat and going to do everything they possibly can because they haven't been able to do much for the past year.
I've been having this idea of like it's actually going to be like Roaring 20s again, you know, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're all
love it.
like ready,
That would be amazing.
right? I think Gatsby is like my favorite ever. I'm just like, please throw all the parties, all of the fancy dresses. Let's do it.
Oh yeah. A new Roaring 20s,
Yes, yes, if you will.
if you will. Exactly.
If you
Yeah.
will. I love that. Jeff, do you have other questions?
Actually, I appreciate it. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. The one thing that you did say, and I don't know if there's anything there or not, and I'm open to there not being anything there, talking about that whole thing about getting paid, but, doing what you love, but needing to get paid. I don't know
Oh yeah.
if they're in terms of, I don't know if there's anything else there in terms of discussing that, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there, but yeah, it's definitely fine if not.
For I think I'm just feeling cooped up, and that's why I'm like, I don't care. I'll play for free. Like,
Yeah,
probably not forever, but this year I'd definitely be way more open to it than I normally would, because I'm ready. I'm just so ready to get back out there. But
especially as a performing artist, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And as far as your photography and videography, I mean, was there ever kind of a push-pull with that too? Like when you first started that? I mean, as far as, wanting to do what you love, but also at the same time needing to make a living and just kind of balancing all that. And
back in the very beginning, it's always tough to know when you're first starting something. It's tough to know how good you are and how much you can charge, and if you should be charging at all yet. But I mean, at a certain point, you get past that and you're just like, well, this is kind of, you just look at other people online, you're like, well, I'm about at this level and I feel like my stuff is this good, so I should probably charge about the same.
Yeah.
And you just kind of navigate that minefield. But no, I don't think because of the virus we had anything like that. I mean, it all still had a value, and the only thing that was kind of sucky is that we couldn't do a lot of stuff for 2 months. But so many people rescheduled their weddings for either later last year or this year, and they've been going on ever since. And it's crazy how many people are at these weddings. Probably more than should be, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. It's like for some things, I guess people feel like, it's worth the risk maybe, or I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what they're thinking or if they're thinking, I don't know.
Maybe not. Who's to say?
Yeah. But as humans, it was kind of like the spring break stuff. I heard all these stories about like, there's just these crazy, just numbers of people. And I almost wonder if there is that, if there is that kind of reasoning, like, I didn't get a chance to do anything last year. I'm going this year. I don't care. It doesn't matter how many people. And so you just get this large group of people that says, I don't care. I'm just going to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of them did, make us wear masks during the ceremony and all the times where we'd be kind of in this close-knit space. So that's nice. But I mean, we did anyway because we're vendors, but it was really nice to see all the guests wearing masks as well. So.
Yeah. It definitely helps, doesn't it? It definitely helps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm feeling that spring break too. I'm like, I want to go. I need to get back out there and do something, So.
Absolutely. Well, Mikey, thank you so much. Laura, I don't know if you have anything else, but I think I am. I think I am there. Wherever there is, I'm not sure, but
we're here.
Wherever we may be, we made it. I have one more question, and it's just a funny one. It's not serious, but because your website, Salem Blue Band, has that you are fueled by pizza. I also like to think of myself as the pizza connoisseur. So this is a two-part question. Yeah.
The most stressful one of the day. All right.
So the first part is, of course, what is your favorite kind of pizza?
Okay. Oh, you want me to answer that now?
Yes. Yeah.
Hawaiian. Right now, Hawaiian.
The pineapple does go on pizza.
Yeah. Why not?
that was my freebie question, because the second part of it is,
okay, all right.
As a fellow Oklahoma City pizza connoisseur, Halls or Empire?
Wow. Oh, that's tough.
I know, it's so tough. That's why I like to ask people.
I don't often eat Halls, so I'm gonna go Halls. I don't know why. I just instinct. I'm gonna say Halls.
It
may be because everyone wants to say Empire. Maybe that's why I'm saying Halls.
See, I dig that. I like that. I like that thing. And in fact, as a former Oklahoma City resident, I don't know if I get to chime in as well. Or...
Oh yeah,
I have kind of a complex answer. It is Empire because I haven't tried the other one that you guys are speaking of. And I'm going to say this right now. They opened up a Empire in Tulsa in kind of the
I saw that
up and coming downtown district, and it's just not the same. I mean, there's only one Empire Slice House, and it's in the Plaza district.
It's in the Plaza.
And I'm going to even go even further and say I kind of like the original location versus that new building. Maybe that's just me. But
it actually moved.
Yes. Yeah. No.
And isn't that crazy?
I know.
I mean, the new building is cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
They needed, and that's the thing, they needed to get a bigger building, because it was like hours to wait sometimes. You're like, this isn't a little dive pizza place anymore, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
But,
and that's what I was going to say. I definitely don't want to be saying anything bad about the new building. I mean, I totally respect it. I totally get it. And I'm not sure I ever got to eat in there because I think I moved back before that got finished, I believe. Do they have like the concert posters and like the album covers, and so they do they did kind of continue that theme? And
it's it's the same theme as the old one. It's just bigger, and they have a way bigger patio, like AstroTurf and the whole thing. It's a really nice building, but you only lost the little dive feel. That's all.
No big deal.
No biggie. It's fine.
Oh, man.
They became a big deal, but yeah. I don't know. I have to go. I'm usually an Empire, but I really do like it's like, to me, I think it comes down between like the pink sauce and then the dill ranch. I'm just like, they're both so good. Mine isn't even the pizza. It's the sauce. The sauce.
Well, then I'm going to turn that question back around on you. Do you have a favorite pizza place in Tulsa?
Great question
for both of you.
Wow. Are you familiar? Have you spent much time here? Or are you
a little bit? I have a favorite pizza place in Tulsa, so I'm gonna see if
interesting. Okay, I actually have to think about like what is my favorite. I never do well with these favorite questions, although I did in this case with the thing in Oklahoma City. Favorite in Tulsa. Gosh, that's a tough one. I would say probably the closest for me would be, there's a place here called Andolini's, which basically is a slice house. Yeah, and I'll admit, I know this sounds really over commercialized, but the whole Hideaway thing. I mean, I didn't want to eat there in Oklahoma City, but for some reason, I have possibly been spotted there once or twice since I moved back. But yeah, what about you? It'd be interesting to hear what yours is.
Andolini's.
Yeah,
hands down. It's so good.
Okay, because I don't spend a lot of time in Tulsa, and I haven't since I've lived here. So I just wrote it down so that I could go and experience this.
Good. Yes, you absolutely need to.
You said I feel like I'm a pizza connoisseur, so it's probably my favorite. If I had to like pick one food for the rest of my life, question.
Yeah.
Hands down, pizza for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now I'm kind of like feeling Oklahoma City. Now it's like I'm kind of like back in the zone.
Glad we could help.
Well, thank you both so much. This is great. Mikey, I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing about yourself and taking this time to be able to get to know you a little bit is great. And Laura, thank you. It's always fun to do these with you. And
thank you so much. Mikey, do you want to plug your all of the things that you do really quick? We'll have it in the links and stuff, but if there's anything special you want to add.
So many things.
Yes, all the things.
I don't even know where to begin. The Hideouts, Salem Blue, Skull Crawlers, Nimble Image, Alumni Productions, MikeyHevr.com. I don't even it's too much stuff.
All of the things. Yeah, send us. We'll have them all in the comments, but I just want to give you that space to plug.
Oh yeah.
Shameless plug. I love all of your stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got I got a project for everyone. So
I like your style, girl. I like your style.
thanks.
Well, yeah,
Thanks again. It was a lot. It was a lot
thanks,
of fun.
Mikey.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you both. Thanks.
Oh yeah, thank you.